there's absolutely zero inventory available on the market. Interest rates are inching up every single day.
It's a great day in the mortgage and real estate world.
Hello everybody, my name is Barry Horvath and this is Moving Forward TV with your local market update.
And I am DeLynn Gaston. Thanks so much for joining us. So, it's a great day.
It's a
great day in the mortgage and real estate world.
It's a great day, period.
It is. It is.
Every day is a great day.
In all worlds, right?
Yes, it is.
So just because interest rates have started to take a turn and go up a little bit, it's not that big of a deal. Especially when people say, "Oh my gosh, the interest rate's up to 3."
Yeah.
I'm coming off the world of when I started in the business, interest rates were 18%. Yeah. So, when I hear them say, 3 is high, I'm just like, what?
Really? I know. It's crazy to think
so it's,
that.
It's all relative, and you just have to kind of keep things in perspective. Just because the interest rates have started to go up a little bit, just because there's no houses on the market for sale right now.
There's definitely no inventory. And what inventory is out there is just popping off the market.
Right.
So let's talk about that and some of the new things that are arising right now in the industry, because we all know that there are no listings available. There's not a day that goes by that I don't get that text message that says, "Hey, do you want to sell your property at 123 Main Street?" or blah, 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 blah. And yeah, there's a ton of that going on. So.
And a realtor. It was funny, anybody who was on our lunch and learns that we do every single month, second Tuesday of every month, quick plug. Mm-hmm. Anyway, anybody who was on that, we talked about one of the things that we always say is, does anybody have any listings out there that they would like to share with the other realtors? There was crickets.
Yeah.
It was on Zoom, and there was crickets. Nobody has any listings right now, and we get that. But before we really jump into all of that stuff, we wanted to talk about some of the things that we've been hearing about that you guys need to be careful of.
Yes, so we're talking specifically right now. We know we have lots of buyers that watch our show, and we know we have lots of real estate professionals out there, and we want to offer you some things that we learn in the market. While we're not realtors, we're here to support you, and we always want to give you the latest information. So those of you who have buyers that have been struggling to find a house want to go in with these letters of comfort, letters of persuasion, letters of, "Hey, sell me the house because little Timmy can grow up in that little blue room and squeeze his dollies and then..."
Stop.
Sorry, but all right, I might have went too far.
Edit.
Too far. All right, forget about little Timmy and the dollies, okay? But you're putting in these letters, and then as a real estate professional, you are subject to fair housing laws, just like anybody else. So you need to be very, very careful, because lawsuits are beginning to arise because buyers are now getting frustrated that someone of a different, what's the word
background?
I'm looking for? Background, upbringing,
ethnicity, anything like that.
Any discrimination whatsoever. Sorry. Hey, don't worry about us. We're filming a show. Any discrimination whatsoever can have an impact now on your offer. So if you are persuading or sharing those letters in any way and that buyer doesn't like it, you as a real estate professional can now be sued, and it's happening right now, folks. So there's big lawsuits going on, because you pick the normal,
and even though
family,
even though the realtor didn't pick it, and we understand what all of you are sitting there saying right now, we don't pick it, the seller picks it, and we get that, but because of
Yeah, I mean, because
the
you
letters in general, that they're there, it opens up the door for lawsuits.
absolutely
It has been opening doors.
the same-sex marriage family didn't get it. They were discriminated, or the Latino,
And that's what's happening.
or whatever were discriminated, and because you pick the whatever normal is today. I mean, everybody's entitled to their rights, and we understand that, but you as a real estate professional need to, and I caution you, to remove yourself from that part of the transaction. So it's happening big time.
It is
right
happening.
now.
There are lawsuits that are active right now because of that.
So just be careful. I would present all offers. I'm not a broker. I'm not here to coach you on it. But I would stay away from persuading anyone because of whatever reason in that letter that you see, or pictures.
Those letters.
We're hearing now pictures are coming.
Yeah, people were in picture. You know, they're sending
Yeah.
a letter and a picture in. I definitely wouldn't do that. I don't know if you know, if your buyer wants to send a letter on their own without you encouraging them to do so. I don't know if that's. I don't know. We're just saying I wouldn't do a photo with it by no means, and people were doing that as well. But I would definitely just be very careful with when you do things like that. You all already know about. You know, the fair, you have to have a level playing field as far as, you know, when you advertise a property or whatever. You can't say coming soon, listing soon, or anything like that. You all already know that. And like when we were doing on our lunch the other day, saying, you know, anybody have any listings they want to share with anybody else, you know, you have to be very careful with those kind of things too.
Is that a violation? Because I see them posted on Facebook. This listing coming soon.
Right now, that is. In
Yeah.
fact, one of my realtor partners that I was speaking with just yesterday, she said her broker called her and said, take it down.
Yeah.
You just don't want to open the door because it's not, you know what I mean? It's then it doesn't level the playing field or something.
Right.
You know, which I don't understand because quite frankly, not everybody looks at Facebook, right? So if she does when she does get the listing and she posts it on Facebook, just
Right.
because you're not on Facebook that day doesn't, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
I don't understand what the difference is. It's coming soon.
I saw one last night from an agent that we know very well, and I'm going to actually call her and let her know she probably should check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
I don't know. The
So
world
many-
is crazy, people.
It
We
is.
all know that, right?
We
It's
live
just
in a
gone nuts.
litigation is everywhere. So, you know, people will see
Which is
you for
why our
everything.
insurances are through the roof
So,
on everything.
All right,
you
so
know.
enough with the bad that can happen to you because of
with the
the
bad.
limited properties.
the
So
good.
yeah, people are frustrated. That's all there is to it. So they're going to sue you because they can't find the house they want. They've been looking for a year. And we have it. We have buyers that have been looking literally for a year.
Right.
I mean, I think they thought they were going to steal a house. So let's talk about when you do find a house, how do you get it? How do you get it? You
And
finally
let's talk
find the
about
offer.
how you're not stealing it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's all of these people who are coming down from up north. We understand. Everybody thinks, oh, let's go buy a house in Florida because it's very inexpensive down there compared to like New York and places like that. And we totally get it. But guess what? You are not stealing houses anymore. There is no such thing as stealing houses anymore.
There really isn't.
No.
Not right now.
No.
Not right now. So
All of the multiple offers on properties is getting a little out of control.
So you found the property, okay? What do you do? How do you go in with an offer? So we want to offer
now
you
that you can't write a letter,
Yeah, well, you can write a letter.
or
but
put
just
your photo in with it.
Now that we've squashed that.
I know.
But
But we can say be prepared.
yeah, be prepared, and we're going to give you some great tips right now on what you should do. So my first tip for you is be prepared to go quickly to see the house. It hit the MLS. Go see it right now.
Yes.
Don't wait. Don't wait till Saturday. Don't wait till you're, this weekend. We'll go check it out. Maybe we'll see. If you want that house and you're really serious buyer, you need to get in right away, because if you're not, I'm going to tell you right now, the investors are buying the houses sight unseen. We're seeing it every day. They're just throwing in the offer. They're taking that 10 or 15-day inspection period to their advantage. And if they don't like it, they back out. And most people are aware that there is an inspection period. No questions asked. You can back out of any contract. So That's our first tip. Go see it right away. Don't
And I
wait.
know-
Do not pass go.
Yeah.
Do not collect $200. Go see it.
And exactly. And I would
is that clear?
say even on your lunch hour, if you can't, clear. And I know some people like in the hospitals and stuff like that, they really can't, go out that far, go that far. But if you are able to leave even on the lunch hour, or whatever, and go see it because you're definitely going to lose it. That's just the way it is.
Sounds like,
Yeah.
it's just a seller's market, let's face it. And then our next
And the
tip,
second thing, yep,
go in.
strong. Go in strong. Get that offer in and make it your best offer because there's going to be 12 behind you.
Yes.
So make sure that you are going in with the strongest offer possible. Make sure that you've talked with you and your spouse, and you know where you want to be. You two are on the exact same page of where you want to be as far as what you're going to offer and things like that, and make it your best offer that you can possibly get, that you can possibly put forward.
I agree. You know what? I had somebody.
There's no negotiating. There's
There's
let's
not.
see if he'll
Come
take
in with
lower.
your best.
They're not going to take
Come in
lower.
with your best, because you know what? Here's some statistics actually show, even if you overpaid for the house today, based on the appreciation markets, there's calculators now that will show you when are you going to be even and when you're going to be ahead. And I think you're going to find that in most cases, even if you overpay at today's market, you're going to be ahead of the game very, very quickly, even at a moderate appreciation. If moderate to me is 4 to 5%, that's normal real estate appreciation.
And we've been having
the crazy
11.
double-digit increases. So even if you're upside down today, if you plan on holding that house for a period of time, you're not a flipper, you're going to be okay, because prices will continue to go up. People are moving to Florida.
Exactly. Everybody wants to live down here. That's why we say your strongest offer. So, and be prepared to go over asking price. That's what's happening out there right now. So if you feel that you really, really, really want this house, then I would be prepared to do that. Again, check your finances, things like that, which brings up our third tip, which is check your finances. Make sure your pre-approval letter, that you have a pre-approval letter, that you've provided all of your documentation to your mortgage lender. Make sure that they've gone through everything and you know exactly. I just was speaking to someone yesterday who they're 2 weeks into the transaction on a VA loan, and I guess the loan officer never looked at the documents up front or something and saw that this person
Shocking.
is 1099, and they have a lot of write-offs and things like that on the Schedule C, and I guess they never looked at it. So they're 2 weeks, and they had a pre-approval letter. The realtor's just livid. They had a pre-approval letter. They're 2 weeks into the whole transaction.
Can we mention that bank out loud?
And
please, say it. No, don't do it. Just kidding.
I won't. We'll say it's a VA loan, though.
Yeah. So they're a VA lender.
But anyway, so make sure. I know I get phone calls sometimes from listing agents saying, hey, I just wanted to touch base with you. I have this offer that came in. I'm looking at your pre-approval letter. Have you seen the people's documents? Have you run their credit? Have you run their credit, things like that? Absolutely. Call. You got that call that loan officer, talk to them, make sure, ask them the questions.
Kind of off tangent, you talk about somebody called me the other day because they were a referral from someone I've worked with for years, and they're like, call Barry, he'll know. She's so frustrated at buying a house. She was an FHA buyer, and her lender told her that you're not going to get the house because you're going FHA, because it won't appraise. That's what he told her. And I'm like, really?
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, really? I go, and it just bothers me that people give that misinformation, because FHA values, and we talk about this all the time, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. FHA versus conventional, it's going to appraise the same. The only reason you go, it's not going to work.
Clearly, that is an uneducated lender.
I know. And I said, are you buying a flip? No. I said, then it doesn't matter.
Values
So you know what?
do not change because it's an FHA loan versus a conventional loan. There's a couple of extra pages to an FHA appraisal, a couple of extra, like they have to take a picture of the attic
And
where
the
you don't on
the
conventional.
comps have to be more recent per se.
Yeah,
They have to
but
be there's so many
But the
recent comps now.
appraised
It doesn't
value,
matter.
The number because many, most, I should say, just let's go with most appraisers are licensed to do both. FHA
Yep.
and conventional.
And
They're
our-
not going to come up with two different numbers based upon because one's conventional and one's FHA. It's not. It doesn't work that way.
Nope.
I can't believe a lender told somebody that. That's
Well,
just,
so here's what's funny. This is what I told her. She goes, well, I'm going to need down payment assistance, and I can do the bond program, blah, blah, blah. It's only FHA. I go, well, a seller might have reservations about that, seeing you're
Right.
100% in.
that's the other thing.
Yeah. And by the way, we'll talk about that, but we do have down payment money coming available. We'll talk about that at the end of the show here.
Right.
But, I just feel like they've been misinformed.
Might be weaker offers. Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
but
So
totally misinformed. So I said, listen to me. You're all pre-approved with your current lender. I'd love to help you. I'm not here. We have plenty of business. She said it was her father's friend, and I get it. Her father's friend misinformed her. I said, stick with it. Keep putting in the offers. So I followed up with her the other day. She says, we found a house. Thank you so much for your advice.
nice.
Yeah. So they
Good.
did. They found a place. So, all right. But we lost the deal.
I'm really curious, but they lost the bid. I was going to say.
No,
I'm
they
curious.
didn't lose the bid.
Did they
We
go
did.
FHA?
We're not doing the
We
loan.
lost out.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Did they go
I would
FHA or
help it.
conventional?
They went FHA.
FHA. See?
Yeah, probably because she probably said, this guy Barry told me. He's like, oh boy, that guy's ruined it for all of us. He keeps telling everybody the facts.
Truth.
Just the facts. All right, now that you went in with your best and highest offer, and here's...
And you're prepared with your pre-approval
Pre-approval.
letter,
And-
and you as the listing agent hopefully have reached out to the lender on that pre-approval letter, spoken actually to the loan officer, made sure that they received the docs, they reviewed the docs, they pulled the credit, and everything is lined up.
So-
Definitely do that.
So now that we know that you've been pre-approved, so here's the challenge out there, because those of you who have not gotten a loan in the last year since COVID, all the rules have changed. And there's
lot.
guidelines, and you automatically think you have great credit. I have an 833 score. I can get a loan. And so we're going to tell you just some of the things that people are...
So the answer to the eighth, maybe.
Yeah.
I have an 833 score, I can get a loan, maybe.
So we want to give you some facts that I have gathered on what you could miss out on getting pre-approved. And it happens every single day. And you may laugh at some of these.
But I'm chuckling here.
Yeah, but it's the truth. So
But these are some things that we've definitely heard people say, and people,
So even if your credit score is an 833, you may not qualify for whatever loan you want. Does that make sense? You
because it's
may
not just score.
Yeah.
Even though
so-
you're putting 50% down. That people say that to us all the time. You know what? Equity doesn't make a mortgage payment.
No.
So just because you put 50% down, they're still looking for what is your income stream coming in to be able to make that mortgage payment.
So
Equity in the house does not make the mortgage payment.
you either qualify or you don't.
Yeah, we still have to run the
So
numbers.
just because you have 50% put down doesn't mean you're going to qualify. Now
Right.
you may get a private that way. So, and even if you own multiple rental properties right now, here today, that doesn't mean you're going to qualify for another.
Nope.
It doesn't necessarily work that way. So keep that in mind. You might have 10 properties right now. That could hurt you.
It could.
So,
The other one is commissions. A lot of times people have commission jobs or bonuses or something like that, and maybe they got a ton of commissions in the last 6 months or bonuses or something like that, and they think, of course I can qualify for a loan.
I made $100,000 in commissions over the last 6 months.
Right.
That doesn't mean you qualify.
If you didn't do it over the last 2 years,
Commission
doesn't
income
count.
is totally different than W-2 regular non-commissional,
As
hourly.
is 1099
Yes.
for our,
Just like your VA lender.
I know, 1099, as well as, we may as well say it while we're here too, tips, servers, hairdressers,
Yeah.
barbers, anybody who works on tip income and everything. It's not the same. It's not calculated the same. So, again, this is why we say your lender needs to look at those documents, ask you lots of questions, be honest with them, fill them in completely. Don't just say, well, I make, $50,000 a year. How? Break it down. Break it down. I make this much in base salary. I make this much in commissions. I make this much, that kind of a thing, so that we're calculating it right. We don't want you to go and fall in love with a house and then
you don't qualify.
And then you don't qualify.
All right, I love this next one. Even if you pay all your debts on time or early, you may not have room in your debt ratio to qualify. Just because you make every car payment, every house mortgage payment, every credit card payment, every student loan payment on time every month, your debt ratio might be maxed out. And again, get with your lender, your good lender, to make sure you qualify, okay? And I think that people are like, I pay my bills on time, I should be able to get a loan.
I know. I actually had this conversation with my son, believe it or not, the other night, and he said, I don't understand it. He said, so people are out there paying $1,300 a month in rent, yet you're telling them that they can't afford a mortgage payment of $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
I said, that's correct.
Yeah, that's so true.
That is correct. He said, but they're paying $1,300. And honestly, they might be borrowing money from mom or dad to pay that $1,300, and they're definitely hurting to pay that $1,300. It's a stretch to get there.
Yes. Yes.
So, and maybe they're paying $1,300 because, but then when they go grocery shopping, they're putting it on credit cards,
Right.
Because they don't have any money left
And it's so
in their
funny
checking
because
account to buy groceries.
people who have looking at refinancing right now, kind of like you said, I'm paying $1,500, I'm going to reduce it to $1,200.
Right.
I should qualify.
Right.
No, you may not get the new
Sometimes
loan.
you don't.
Just because Fannie Mae has your loan right now, and we're taking it to another Fannie Mae and reducing your payment, and your situation, you have more debt, less income, you went 1099, blah, 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 you got divorced, you got alimony payments, you got child support payments now, you may not qualify for that new lower payment, even though you have a higher one now.
Right.
So, okay. Speaking of your son, student
loans. I was
Yes.
going to get to that.
So, go ahead.
Student loans, and people will tell us all the time, oh, they're deferred, and especially now with COVID. Yes, you're absolutely correct. They are deferred. That does not mean we don't have to put a payment in. Years ago, as long as it was deferred for at least 12 months, then we didn't have to count it. Here's what ended up happening. 12 months, so people get a house, 12 months later, the student loan payment kicks in at $350 a month or whatever it might be, and now they're struggling to make their mortgage payment. Or they're struggling to make their student loan payment because that wasn't factored into the numbers. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the Federal National Mortgage Association, they've changed the rules and guidelines in the last year, 2 years, something like that, to say that even if the student loan is in deferment, we absolutely still have to take a payment into consideration. And depending upon which program we go with, determines how much the payment is that we're going to be using for qualifying. So what I'm doing right now is I'm saying to people, if you are in your student loan is deferred due to COVID, were you paying it beforehand, and what were you paying? Tell me what you were paying. If you have that in writing, I can use that number.
Bottom line. Just because you don't have to make a payment and you owe on a student loan, your lender cannot ignore it.
Right.
There it is. Okay?
Make sure you tell us about it.
That's exhausting, DeLynn.
I know. People don't tell us about it.
All right. Credit score. Even though you meet the credit score requirement, you have the 620, whatever the number is, doesn't mean you won't need additional credit cleanup. Mm-hmm. Just because you have the score doesn't mean there's something on there that we have to get removed, and you need to know that up front.
Right. Or something that might have to get paid off, or something that might have to be put on payment arrangements, or something like that.
Something that's not reported correctly, right. Something that's in duplicate that we got to get removed, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
All right, next.
The other thing is switching jobs. So there's definitely a myth that, I haven't been on my job for 2 years, so I can't do this. That's not necessarily true. You just have to be in the same line of work for 2 years, and we can still use that, providing you are working for an employer. If you went from working for someone, maybe you were, detailing cars at a dealership, and you decided to open up your own detail business.
But it's the same line of work, DeLynn.
Because you cannot go from working for someone to self-employed on a self-employed, or working from, this dealership doing that, and then you went to a different dealership, but this one over here, you were a W-2 employee where they took out taxes, and this one over here, you're a 1099 independent contractor. Not going to work. So it has to be 2 years, same line of work as an employer. If you're working for an employer, or if you're self-employed or 1099, that has to be a 2-year history of self-employment, or a 2-year history of receiving 1099.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's almost overwhelming, all this stuff, isn't it?
That's why we so encourage you talking to someone ahead of time.
All right.
There is a lot. There's a lot to it.
And I love this call. Listen, I can pay, I have great credit, blah, blah, blah. I can pay for this house 4 times over with my cash. That doesn't mean you qualify for the loan. Just because you have all this cash in the bank or retirement, it doesn't mean you qualify. They'll be like, well, and people shouldn't pay cash right now. With interest rates where they are, I'm telling you, you're crazy if you pay cash for a house. Go through the extra steps, get the loan. Money's cheap. It's super cheap. I love that. I'll just pay cash. Okay.
I know you realtors love those cash buyers out there.
It's not the best financial decision for you. With rates where they are, it's crazy.
But they are winning the bids right now.
Yes.
I will say that. They're winning the houses.
But, all right, last but not least, due to COVID, if your income has declined and you're self-employed, you may not qualify. Bottom line, even though you debt ratio with your reduced income, if you show a decline in that income, we may have a challenge. Houston, we have a problem.
We will have a challenge. and there's no may. There will be a challenge there. And we're not saying that you won't qualify.
I always try to be politically correct.
Yeah.
I don't like to discriminate any of our buyers.
So it will be challenging. And again, so this is why I'm talking to our realtor partners here. Please don't put 30 days on a contract, because by the time we get it, it's down to 29 days or 28 days or something.
Oh, you didn't get that, DeLynn? I emailed it to you last week.
And then we have all of these challenges with the overlays because of COVID and things like that we have to make sure that we're in between, or maybe we've had job changes or things like that. So there's extra things along with the sheer volume that's out there. So please, please, please educate your sellers that things are taking a little bit longer these days.
We're not trying to scare you. We just want to give you the facts. And
we just want to be realistic. We want, we all should put our best foot forward.
Real quick, upcoming Lunch and Learn. You don't want to miss this in April, second Tuesday of April. I don't know the day, but we are actually having
Mike Wells.
Actually, we're not. We're already done with that, DeLynn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're into April. We are having, April 13th, we are doing down payment assistance certification.
That's right.
So April 13th, 11:30, check out our page, check it out. Hey, share this, like it.
We appreciate everybody watching. We are today and every day.
Moving forward.
See you next week.
Have a great week, everybody.